What's up, guys? Good evening and welcome to Roma Theory. Happy Friday to you all. I hope the week ended well. And now we've got the weekend and we're playing Torino again. Give us a break. Give us a break from above. I can't remember the last time we played a team and replayed them in such a short span of time. But normally these things happen in football. Of course, we got thrown out by Torino in the Coppa Italia at home on Tuesday. And now we're back against them in Turin in the league. Different games, of course. I don't think you can compare the two. But I think this first half of the season and this Coppa Italia tie have proven to us that Torino are our dark beast this season. I mean, they beat us 1-0 in September at the Olimpico. And they beat us on Tuesday and thrown us out of the Coppa Italia. So, I mean, we do need to kind of seek some revenge. I do expect a different result. I must say, I'm going to start off with an assumption. Whenever you face a team and reface them in such a short span of days, I cannot see the same result penning on the same way. You will have to learn a few things. I don't see us losing on Sunday. I'm not gonna say we're gonna win. I'm not gonna go as far to say that we're gonna win, even though I'm quite optimistic for Sunday's game. But I don't see us losing. I definitely don't see us losing. And I mean, we need a shock. We need a reaction. We need to show. They need to show us that they can beat this Torino team, because it feels like everyone beat Torino this season apart from us. Torino are having a very weird season. I was actually looking at their results this season after they eliminated us from the Coppa Italia, and I'm like, I thought Torino were lower down in the table. I feel like every weekend Torino loses, apart from when they face us and they win. Yeah, I mean, I feel like Torino are one of those teams that you always feel lose, but they've actually won a few games this season and are in a quite comfortable position. As I was saying before that Coppa Italia game, you know, they're not going to get relegated, and they know that they're not going to get in Europe. So for them, that game meant a significant amount. They didn't start with a turnover. They started with their key players, and their key players eliminated us. But again, as I said at the start, this is a different game. I think this is a different game because our priority this season is definitely that top 4 position. And I just can't see us drop points again to the same team. Not only for the third consecutive time this season, but considering we faced them 3 days ago, 4 days ago, whatever it was. So I expect something new. I expect some changes. MALEN will start on Sunday. I'm convinced about this. Dovbyk, of course, latest update around Dovbyk is that Dovbyk needs to undergo surgery. And he's going to be out for 2/3 months. That's Dovbyk gone for the season. Ferguson is still out. So once again, you've got no strikers. And, well, now you do, because you signed MALEN. And in today's interview, he actually said that his preferred position is a number 9, which I wasn't aware. I thought it was more of a number 10 position to kind of put next to Sule or Dybala. But apparently, you know, he said it himself in the interview. He wants to play as a false 9. And I reckon then that probably explains why Villa sold him and why he wanted to leave Villa. Maybe because Emery didn't play him in the position he wanted, so he demanded a transfer request. MALEN will definitely play. And MALEN will play as a striker. I expect Dybala and Sule behind. Pellegrini is back, available for this game, but he's been out for a month. And knowing Pellegrini's fragility, I don't expect him on the pitch. And then everyone is back, apart from El Anawi, who's got a Morocco AFCON final this weekend. I'm actually going to Morocco next week for 3 days. So I'm rooting for them to win it, because it would be sick to be there post AFCON trophy. Ndika's back, so our defense is complete. And I expect a solid 4 in the middle with Chilik and Wesley on the flanks and Kone and Cristante in the middle. I mean, what do we need to add about this game? I feel like you don't need to. I don't want to massively analyze Torino, because I think Torino against us this season have proven to have no tactics. And the reason they won both of our games against us is because we let them on a counter-attack. And they won that 1-0 on a counter-attack with a great goal. And effectively speaking, they won the game that we played against them 3 days ago because of counter-attacking football. You know, we advance and we attack with a lot of men, leave gaps behind. And then, of course, we were unlucky in both games because Simeone in the first one and Che Adams in the second one turned into the equivalent of Zlatan and Thierry Henry. But that, you know, Torino don't have an identity that I can, in a match preview, break down and go, you need to be careful about this, you need to be careful about that. Torino do this very well, Torino do that very well. Torino or this. Torino are not the worst team in the league, so you have to be careful. You're playing away, and at home this season, they've beaten some good teams. They beat Napoli at home. I believe they drew against Juventus at the Allianz Stadium 0-0. But that was still the start of the Spalletti era. And then, who else? I mean, they lost that game against Milan, but probably in any other game and against any other team, they wouldn't have lost that game because they were 2 goals up. And then Milan, with Allegri's ass, of course, scores 3 and wins it. So Torino at home are a dangerous team. I can't lie. I will not hide this. But frankly speaking, seeing our past, I'm a bit scared and skeptical about this game because they've figured out how to beat us. So if they do it again, they'll win again. But then at the same time, I'm like, they beat us 2 times in the same exact way. If you play in the same exact way for a 3rd time, you're an idiot. So, you know, you make a mistake and you lose once. You make that same mistake and you lose twice. I kind of expect you not to make the same mistake 3 times at the cost of losing again, okay? Because that would be very idiotic, especially because these are professional players, and you know there's a professional staff that prepares these games. So I think their biggest weapon is counterattacks. Now, the commentator during that Coppa Italia game at the start of the game said that Torino have got the worst defense in the league. That says a lot. That says a lot about them as a team, and that says a lot about how terrible we've been offensively because we couldn't score against them and we had to depend on a 16-year-old to head it at the back of the net. Torino have got the worst defense in the league. Now, just to get their last results, if 2 minutes ago I said that they've had some good games and some good results against the big teams, the last results for Torino at home, I mean in general, 2-0 loss in Bergamo against Atalanta, 2-1 loss at home to Udinese, and before that, they won in Verona against Verona, but before that they lost at home to Cagliari, 2-1. So it's they're a very unpredictable team. You never know what Torino team is going to turn up. So ideally you can't make the game easy for them. Counterattacks. If they hit you on a counterattack, you're gonna lose this game again. They've got some. I like some of. I mean, I would argue now that maybe this statement that I'm about to make needs to be revisited at the end of the transfer session, but up to now, I could write a book about how Torino's attack is way better than ours. And this is a fact. Like, Torino have a better attack than us this season. That needs to be very clear. I think how desperate we've been in attack this season. Now, of course, we signed MALEN. We're going to sign somebody else, in my opinion. And we signed that young guy from Marseille. But before these signings, I would have said, give me Simeone, because he starts in my team every day of the week. But probably Che Adams would as well. So, you know, these are players that, as we've seen, because it happened to us, can win them a game. But again, as I said at the start, I cannot see us lose again third consecutive time in the span of 5 days. I cannot see it. I can't. I think that there needs to be an assumption in football where the majority of times that you play the same team in a short amount of time, you never get the same. You never get the same result. I mean, come on, these are professional players. I hope I'm not gonna jinx this, but I don't see us losing on Sunday. Xerxes didn't train in like Malen's post. We might be onto something. I still think Xerxes will happen. Something tells me that Xerxes will happen. I am a fond believer of the cord theory. The cord theory says that if someone keeps pulling on a cord, insists on pulling that cord will eventually snap. And that theory can be applied to everything in life. If you want something, put pressure on it and pull that cord, and don't stop pulling that cord will snap. And Man United will give up and they'll let him go. But he needs to keep pulling. You know, we pull and show that we want him. He pulls and he wants us, doesn't want to stay. That Man United cord will snap. I agree. I still think Xerxes will come. And I did read that he didn't train with the Man United team. I'm not sure whether that's a hint or not, but I do see it happen. Roma needs to get Wani from Girona. The Moroccan playmaker is just 10 million and is an amazing replacement for Dybala after this season. What do you think? I haven't seen much of him, mate, to be honest. 3 losses to Torino would be low. Gasperini does have a bad record against Baroni. That is a good point. Yeah, Timber is a good name. Timber is a good name. I like Timber. This board can't even get a bench player like Raspadori. That's factually wrong, mate. You should get your newspaper readings correct and accurate and reliable, because Raspadori clearly didn't want to come, and it's not like the board didn't get him. It's the player, and Ranieri said this himself pre-game. It's the player who didn't want to come. And thank God. I mean, if you don't want to come, stay away from me. I want a clear number 9 or someone Xerxes man that can help others to score. I don't think that Malen can solve our attacking problem. Yeah, Malen alone won't do anything. I want Xerxes as well. I definitely do. Hi Simo, great to listen to your in-depth analysis and love for Roma. Any chance you could predict who are making it to the World Cup out of the playoffs? Will Italy and Ireland make it? I would like to think that Italy will make it, but Italy is Italy, and you never really know. Do you see Dovbyk or Ferguson leaving? I think both of them will leave at the end of the season. I mean, I would have actually argued Dovbyk would have left in January, but it feels like every time we want to sell someone, they get injured, and Dovbyk's injury is more serious than what everyone thought. So we're not going to sell him now. I think the same about the players, but with a 3-4-1-2, Sule back to the two strikers. I think Ferguson, striker, and Malen. Ferguson is injured, mate. Ferguson isn't available. My ideal Roma 3-4-1-2s: Velocelik, Mancini, Hermoso, Wrench, Elanawi, Kone, Wesley, Cristante, Malen, Sule. You don't have Ndika in your ideal Roma team. That's a bit crazy. Definitely put Ndika there and remove Wrench. I like Wrench. I think Wrench deserves more game time. He's coming from a very bad game in Bergamo against Atalanta, but he barely ever plays. The games that he's played overall, I've liked him. He's not my ideal fullback, not at all, far from it. And I don't think he's the ideal Gasperinian fullback, but I've seen way worse. Tsimikas is 100 times worse than Wrench. 100 times worse than Wrench. Let me just... what games are there this weekend in the league? What teams can drop points? Atalanta play tonight in Pisa. Juve go to Cagliari. I think they'll win, unfortunately. I mean, Cagliari away is never easy, but they look great right now, Juve. So, Lazio Como's a good one. That's on Monday night. I'm reading a comment on Twitter. This user says, Tomorrow I'm leaving for London, and it's exactly tomorrow that the United City game will take place. When I return, I'll have one more backpack, and in that backpack there will be Xerxes, don't worry. And somebody in the comment goes, what exactly is the correlation between London and the Manchester derby? I mean, he does have a point. He definitely has a point. Both Ranieri and Gasperini threw a wrench against Atalanta out of nowhere, and I don't know why they expected something. Will there be any creative midfielder? But Roma desperately needs some classy midfielder. Yeah, I think we need a midfielder too, but I don't think we'll manage to get every position done, unfortunately. So I definitely think up to now that attack is the priority. And I like the MALEN and the Vaz signings, but they're not enough. And Gasperini knows that they're not enough. So I would much rather you get and you insist on a number 9 than a midfielder. We will not. This is not even an opinion. This is a fact. You will not survive this second half of the season if you don't get a proper number 9. Now, MALEN said in the interview that he wants to play as a number 9, but in my opinion, it's not enough. In my opinion, it's not enough. Can't wait to see Vaz on the pitch. Hope he's going to have some space against Torino. I do think it will take a bit more time for Vaz to get into the team, especially now that we got MALEN as well. But yeah, I see MALEN starting. Vaz coming in maybe. I mean, Ferguson and Dovbyk are injured, so they're the ones who need to play right now. Napoli play Sassuolo, Lazio play Como. I could see Napoli shitting on the bed again. No Anguissa, no Lukaku, no De Bruyne, no Rachmani at the start of the season. Neres injured. I mean, these boys are giving their best. Okay, I'm gonna catch you tomorrow. Hit that like button if we can get juicy like target. What can we go for? 114. Why 114? Because 14 is the number MALEN chose. So 114 likes is the like target for today's video. I'm gonna catch you tomorrow. Hit that like button, subscribe, and hopefully third time will be the lucky time that we beat this stupid, pathetic Torino team. I shouldn't call them pathetic. They beat us twice, but you get the point. I don't like the way they play, and they've got Baroni on the bench. God gracious me. Okay, enjoy your Friday night, guys. Speak to you all soon. Simo out. How could I forget?